notice right away when you walk into Christ Church Cathedral is this. It's called the Reredos, and it is an exquisite sculpture that is in the apse of the cathedral, and which contains the high altar. The story of the Reredos is that a parishioner at Christ Church Cathedral, Christine Blair Graham, was visiting St. Albans Cathedral in England in the early part of the 20th century. And there was a Reredos very much like this one at St. Albans Cathedral. And she decided that she wanted one for her cathedral. And so she gave a very generous gift of money and helped raise the rest of the money to have this carved. The stone is called beer stone. It was it was quarried in Wales and carved by a man named Henry Hems. And it took about 2 years. Every piece of this is hand-carved stone. Took 2 to 3 years to get this done. Then it was shipped over here in 230 different cases and assembled here. And there had to be pillars of concrete and steel beneath the cathedral that were put in place. Otherwise, this would have fallen straight into the floor. And so it has been here for more than 100 years. 1911 is when it was dedicated, on Christmas Day 1911. There are 52 different figures here, and they represent people from all throughout church history. Down here at the bottom, you have Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. You have the 4 evangelists who wrote the gospel. Of course, the centerpiece is Christ on the cross, and the women standing who were next to him at the cross, who were faithful to him on Good Friday, and who were the first evangelists of the resurrection. And then the other figures are people throughout church history. Many saints and other folks. Some of them, the symbols they're carrying, St. Peter is holding the keys, and that's because he was given the keys to the kingdom. But others are martyrs, and they are holding the instrument of their martyrdom. For example, here we have St. James the Minor, and he's holding a club, and it's because he was bludgeoned to death. Probably the most grisly is over here, which is St. Bartholomew, and he is holding a giant knife because he was flayed. He was literally skinned alive. What's wonderful is each one of these figures has a story, and they are stories of faithfulness. They are stories of trying to follow Jesus, and they're stories of sometimes getting it right and sometimes getting it wrong, which is the case for all of us. I would like to think that if we were doing this today, we would find a way to bring out the fact that most of these people weren't as white as they look here at the Reredos. I'd like to think if we were doing this again today, and maybe we will have a chance to do it someday, that we could do a carving like this that would more fully represent the diversity of the body of Christ. But even with that drawback, it is still an exquisite piece of work. And for me personally, it is an amazing focal point for prayer.